Despite only appearing in 2 episodes, the Great Devourer is one of Ninjago's most significant villains. Even Crystallized focused on this character, a decade after she was first killed in Season 1. In this video, we're going to examine how the Great Devourer changed Ninjago. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for a new video. I feel like it's really cool how this villain, again, just in 2 episodes, is so impactful to the series as a whole. Of course though, it all begins with the Great Devourer's connection to Garbodon. The Great Devourer bit Garbodon, which led to his corruption over many years. This is a really strong start for a few reasons. First of all, it makes the Serpentine threat very personal to wound Garbodon, because the creature the Serpentine wants to release is the same that corrupted Garbodon. It's a really nice connection that ties Ninjago's existing lore together. It also shows how powerful she is, since her venom turned Garbodon evil. Or I guess, unleashed his Oni side. So this is a great foundation. Eventually, Pythor releases the Great Devourer in Season 1, Episode 12. And I feel as the final villain of Season 1, the Great Devourer is an incredible, but pretty good. This villain is an unstoppable force of chaos. And the first time Ninjago does a big monster villain. We see her destroy the bounty, leaving the ninja homeless in Season 2. The invasion of Ninjago City is pretty awesome too. And eventually, Garbodon is of course the one to defeat her. This is such a poetic scene. The Great Devourer obviously ruined Garbodon's life, so it's fitting that in the end, he kills her. Which also allows him to get the golden weapons, which paves the way for Season 2's first half. This finale has some other major impacts, which we'll discuss later. But for Season 2, we've already discussed its first half, but the Great Devourer also impacts its second half. The Great Devourer's venom after the attack awakens the Stone Warriors in Ninjago Episode 21. The ensuing battle with the Serpentine traps them underground again. It also returns the Overlord of Garbodon to power. The Great Devourer's role in all of this isn't a coincidence, but as viewers, we don't learn until 13 seasons and 10 years later. The Great Devourer's impact is also felt in Season 3. This is when Pythor returns, and his survival makes a lot of sense, because Wu also survived. His design has changed, which I feel like is a nice impact. We also learned that the Great Devourer was first released by Serpentine to scare the humans about the prophecy of the Golden Master. Obviously, this was unsuccessful, and the Great Devourer was locked underground. The next big season to discuss is Season 7, when, plot twist, it's revealed the Great Devourer is female. And before she died, she laid a bunch of eggs. It turns out Crux has been weaponizing these eggs to create the Vermilion Army, a seemingly indestructible snake army. This is such a cool connection. It's a really solid explanation as to why these snakes are so powerful. And also, as Ninjago's third snake or serpentine army, it makes them stand out to me. The Vermilion Army was a very fascinating concept, and it cements the Great Devourer's influence on the show even more. But perhaps the most important season to discuss is in fact Season 8. In Ruby, this season creates a main antagonist who is so intrinsically linked to the past. What's especially incredible is it's not ancient history. The Great Devourer attack is an event we saw during the show in Season 1. You could even say that this building being encircled by the Devourer is the same that Ruby lived in. This backstory works so well because it shows events in Ninjago have consequences. Even when our heroes do win, it's never an absolute victory. Someone will always be hurt. And in this case, it was Ruby. Devastated by her parents' deaths, she came to hate the ninja for not preventing this event, which led to her idolization of Garbodon, a strong dictator figure who could provide security to Ninjago. And so, as it relates to this video, everything Ruby did in Seasons 8 and 9 can be traced back to the Great Devourer. And so the Great Devourer was responsible for Ninjago's 2 best villains. Garbodon's corruption was in a very direct way, but she also corrupted Ruby too, although totally differently. And now in Season 8, these 2 victims of the Great Devourer joined forces to do what no other villain ever could: take Ninjago. And that's kind of all for a bit until Season 15, Ninjago's most recent season, which reveals that the Overlord corrupted the Great Devourer. The final episodes of Crystallized justifiably get a ton of criticism, but this was the high point. It was something fans had theorized about for a while, and obviously the creators wanted it too. And honestly, it makes a ton of sense, and it really recontextualizes the first 2 seasons of Ninjago. The Overlord used the Devourer to corrupt Garbodon, knowing he would one day play a role in his return. It also explains the connection between the Great Devourer and the Stone Army. This makes the Overlord's centuries-long plan so much more complex, and establishes him as Ninjago's definitive main villain. Obviously, Ninjago has a bunch of different villains and stories, but if there was one villain who was the villain for the entire show, it wouldn't be Garbodon, it wouldn't be the Oni, it would be the Overlord. This reveal cements the Overlord and the Great Devourer as overarching antagonists of the entire show. The Great Devourer died in the first season of Ninjago, but following seasons added so much more. Maybe it was previously unknown backstory, or perhaps her impacts on the show and characters. I think it was awesome how frequently the Great Devourer was revisited throughout Ninjago's 12-year run, and it shows how much care and attention to detail the creators put into this show. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone different you know, share your thoughts on the Great Devourer as a villain, and I'll see you guys next time.